Some huge news recently. They revealed a secret A Hero Rises, dedicated to the upcoming Fire Emblem Engage. Insane, right? So, today, I'm going to be in-depth breaking down my votes for the brand new... What's that? DTM already did that? Well, that's fine. I'll just make a quick and funny version instead. So basically, this is why I'm going to be voting for Oh. Connor's Act did that already too. Guess the ship sailed on that video idea. Now what? You know what? Instead of making a video, I'm gonna go play some summoner duels instead, because that's what a mentally healthy and well person does in their free time. Small Chambers map, huh? Well, Brave Chrom is looking a little lonely over there in the barracks, so you know what? I'm gonna take him for a spin. Small Chambers as a map historically promotes different playstyles because of the decreased real estate inside the box. The two main ways to get around this are building a flying team or thinking outside the box and proceeding to play outside of it. This map changes one of the core aspects of summoner duels in that getting all your units in the box wherever you can is no longer a priority, especially for using grounded units. Threatening large areas is arguably the new thing to prioritize in your teams, and this strategy does exactly that. Although he's not the captain in these videos, Brave Seliph is the main focus of the team I'm sharing with the class today. I was simply grinding favor. I've arranged it so that Brave Seliph and Brave Chrom end up next to each other by the trench. Arvel is situated in the middle next to Hatari Azura, and my captain, who happens to be host for most of these videos, takes up the 5th spot. It's also worth mentioning that although I am using the new Tandem Form Captain skill, that's merely a preference and I'm just using it to move host around anyway. If you were to make Brave Seliph your captain though, I would personally recommend using Flash of Steel to allow him to secure kills without losing that first life of his, as well as helping in certain matchups where guard could be a factor, things like that, such as Arvel. Now to address the opening of this brand new strategy. By instantly changing fate, I immediately threaten the entire lower half of the units with very little risk. Because of his miracle effect, Seliph essentially has 2 lives, and my goal with the low path is to intimidate people into either panic trading or seriously screwing with their opening. If they adjust their opening to avoid Seliph's threat range, I just move the duos forward as far as I can. The second part of this opening is planting Arvel at the foot of the bridge. By using Hatari Azura's PRF Grey Waves, I can extend Arvel's threat range as well, and cover the entire middle part of the map. Oftentimes I'll do this first to get a risky action out of the other player. By instantly threatening almost the entire map, the other team either has to trade with me, or give me those zone points. If they run away from the Braves at the bottom of the map, I just keep taking up space until I can either snipe units in the middle, or until they eventually come out to fight me. This two-sided approach also allows you to almost always revenge kill when they attempt to trade, and you can further guarantee this outcome if someone on your team has Canto control, which I really need some Canto control in my life. I'll be summoning on the Morbius banner real soon. It's also the safest out of all the methods I've tried on this particular map, and the option coverage regarding enemy threats is almost perfect. Let's take a game step by step, shall we? This game was against Peach, who used Brave Claude, and the first thing I do is to change fate with the Braves, who are on top this time, because I'm blue. In reaction to this, Peach will immediately try and get his units out of the way, causing him to sack his Chrom in the process. Scramble ensues, and I Grey Waves Arvel to increase the threat range in the middle, so now they are threatened from both sides. As we head into turn 2, I can slowly advance and do serious damage to his far save. I lose Chrom, but he's done his job, as Seliph can then take care of the near save threat that is Grima, and then after that, it's just picking away until the surrender. This next match was against By AMC, and it's a good example of what to do if there's a nuke that inhibits you to change fating. In this case, Winter Lysithea. I decided to activate Arvel first instead of using Seliph and putting him in danger, causing By AMC to scramble and move their pieces, prioritizing getting them all in the box. Once it was safe to, I managed to move Seliph and then tank the New Year's Dagger. After that, I can move in with the Arvel, and then revenge kill with Seliph and Chrom, who came in from the bottom. After that, it was just a bit of trading until all he had left was his captain. Closed in and sealed the victory. Here's a pretty good example of what to do when Sather forces your opening to not work by stopping Seliph's movement. In this scenario, you can obviously still change fate, but the effects of it will be drastically reduced as Seliph is no longer able to act. In this case, due to Sather's own threat range, I activated Arvel first, and then waited for Sather to act before moving the already moved Seliph. From that point I had to sack the Chrom, but he had already done his job, and I got everyone in the middle, killed with Arvel, managed to revenge, and ended up sealing the victory by the skin of my teeth, really. This was a real close one. Despite what watching me curb stomp teams for 10 whole minutes might lead you to believe, this is not a bulletproof strategy. Even if I swapped out Holst for a more optimal captain, this team would still have trouble dealing with certain matchups, as is the nature of summoner duels. The first thing you need to definitely keep your eye out for are stall threats, especially Duo Loki. Seliph as a unit is as common as ever right now, and Duo Loki is a direct counter to him. Fortunately, due to the start and spot layout, it is possible to have Seliph avoid the terrible fate of one movement, and that's by keeping him far away from your slowest unit at the start, in my case Arvel. Now if they want to keep Seliph grounded, they'll have to burn a duo skill to do so. The next thing you should be looking for is saviors. Due to the big bad Embla crashing onto the scene and bringing death to saves propaganda with her, saviors have become a lot rarer, especially near saves. Nowadays I'll see the occasional Halloween Doom every once in a while, but the days where everyone had an Adun, or at least a Hector on their team, are long gone. That's part of the reason that this strategy thrives. People seem to have forgotten that Embla is one unit, and guys, saves were broken for years for a reason. They still do what they do. So when you do see a save, you better have brought a tank buster unit just in case, like Chrom, or maybe Deirdre, or an AoE like Sonya, or something like that. The last thing, which you should really be doing anyway, is make sure you don't get gimmicked. You get 30 seconds per turn to act. You should spend at least some of that time checking out the other team's units. I mean really checking them out. If you're banking on Seliph's miracle to tank a hit off the first move, be absolutely certain he will not die by making sure to check status and speed stats. If they've got a Camilla or a Valencian Pala that they're running, make sure to position your Hardy Bearing unit so that they're threatening. And always bring a Hardy Bearing unit. Make sure to check if a savior is a near or far before rushing the CAVS to the forefront. Who knows, you could be like me yesterday, who got steamrolled by a near save Halloween Duma because I forgot to look beforehand. And if you get gimmicked by Sather, don't feel too bad, there's not a ton you can do about that. Now, I'm not exactly an SDS expert or anything, but a lot of you are probably watching this with competition in mind, so I'll give it a go. Obviously, if you're going to use the CAVS together, prepare a separate team stacked with meta units that you don't plan on using as a bait team that will get banned to greaten your chances of using Seliph and Chrom. The banning system also allows you to get rid of your bad matchups and matchups your teams generally struggle with. So if you're planning on using this team, absolutely ban Duo Loki and try to ban either saviors or gimmick units or Thief Nina. I mean, holy shit does Thief Nina cause me trouble. Get that ass banned. But overall, if you think you're good at scramble situations, and you happen to have units that can cover for the CAVS, this strategy pays out dividends like crazy, and I highly recommend at least messing around with it before SDS comes around. Small Chamber is too weird of a map to not try new things after all. This strat really helped me out in getting wins. These clips aren't me picking and choosing most of these are consecutive. Because I'm collecting data for the next State of SD video I'm making, you should totally go watch the November edition if you haven't, this strategy saved me so much time and allowed me to do my favorite thing in the world, stomp on whales. I'm not sure if this strategy is going to take off or anything, but what I do know is that there's no time and your sword is enough. Squad-a-la!